assault ship has arrived. Commencing evacuation procedures.
After more than a decade of shooter development mastery, Respawn Entertainment has pitched its vision for the future of the sci-fi shooter genre, and from the outside in, it looks like a giant mech. But climb into the pilot seat of this daring vision and you'll soon realise that this game is more than what it seems. Taking the best aspects of the franchises we hold near and dear to our hearts, Titanfall is a sensational synthesis of tight mechanics, brilliant multiplayer design, and organic player invention. While not the revolution that some might have hoped for, it's simply a reinvigoration of a genre we thought we couldn't love any greater. Until now. Free is often the sensation you find yourself awash in throughout Titanfall. Once you've completed the rather thorough pilot and Titan training, you're free to jump into the game's campaign or multiplayer. Ostensibly, the campaign consists of 9 multiplayer matches that you play through twice, once as a member of the overbearing galactic corporation known as the IMC, and a second time from the perspective of the freedom-fighting militia. While the game attempts to thread a coherent narrative throughout these matches, unfortunately, it fails to present a compelling story that you can invest yourself in.
Good luck. Signing off.
Bookended before and after each match are cool cutscenes that show small glimpses of the Titanfall universe that you're not privy to nearly as much in the pure multiplayer modes. These do a fine job of establishing the mission and summoning a sense of pre-match and post-match excitement. But the same can't be said for the story moments littered throughout the actual match. Respawn tries to give context to the mission objectives that you're assigned to complete. For example, your typical 3-point capture mode hardpoint translates to a mission to secure 3 turret placements in order to protect your team's ships circling in the sky above. While the idea of bringing narrative context into the frenetic action of a multiplayer shooter is commendable, the implementation here has zero impact on the actual gameplay itself, acting as background noise in an experience that ultimately feels forgettable and tacked on. One facet of Titanfall that I'll never forget is the glory of summoning my own metal behemoth from the heavens above. The unquantifiable ecstasy of earning your Titan by slaying enemy pilots, then gazing as your mechanical buddy majestically bursts through the clouds, crackling through the atmosphere with unmistakable distinction and grandeur, is a sight to behold each and every time.
Stand by for Titanfall.
What aren't quite as glorious to behold are the game's textures. In a direct comparison with graphical stunners such as Rise, Son of Rome, and Killzone Shadowfall, Titanfall doesn't stand as tall and proud. The visual beauty can be found in the artistic direction. While giant mechs, sci-fi weapons, bipedal robots, and futuristic dropships are nothing new, Respawn has managed to meld these fantastical tropes in a way that delivers a distinct and delicious visual flavour that does enough to distract the eye from the game's textural shortcomings.
Behind us.
Created using a modified version of the Source engine, Respawn has stated that a rock-solid 60 frames per second experience will always be more important than stunning graphics, and, for most of the time, the frame rate holds up. During encounters with multiple Titans in confined spaces, there is a notable drop. However, not once did it impact the experience to a point where I could call it unfair. After all, fairness is the star of the show in Titanfall. Simply put, the balance between pilots and mechs is spot on. Climbing into your Titan never feels like a win button. It's simply a different way to fight. In fact, on maps such as Angel City and Colony, the advantages of scurrying on rooftops and through windows as a pilot can be equally, if not more profitable, than circling the open outskirts in your Titan. Throughout each of the 15 maps available at launch is a wealth of strategic playgrounds begging to be explored, studied, and memorized. Like any great multiplayer shooter, it's up to the player to utilize their environment in the most beneficial way possible, and with 15 maps in rotation in every game mode, Titanfall offers plenty to learn. The process of learning and mastering the mechanics of this sci-fi shooter may seem intimidating at first, but clear communication, clever map design, and consistency of controls offer a steadily paced education that's uncharacteristically delightful. Once you've come to grips with what you're capable of, the journey to mastery is well underway, and the simplicity of mechanics makes for a supremely enjoyable one at that. From wall running and double jumping to mounting titans and ripping the protective armor from their hides, everything is buttery smooth. In fact, I'd say Titanfall almost reaches mechanical perfection. Not a single action, movement, or input feels like it could be tighter. It's that intangible feeling of player interaction synchronizing seamlessly with computer reaction that makes this multiplayer shooter shine brighter than most. On the other hand, bright isn't how I describe the AI grunts and spectres that populate every match. Meandering the map at what can only be described as a pace not suitable in a war zone, the grunts languish around key areas of each map, randomly firing potshots here and there at the opposing team, doing very little to contribute to the actual score of the game. What's great about these AI-controlled characters is that they give novice players the opportunity to contribute to the overall success of the team, without the absolute feeling of incompetence if they were to only face human-controlled pilots. That's not to say that skilled players will feel less fulfilled for taking them out. Grunts and Spectres pose a considerable threat to Titans, often whipping out anti-Titan weapons such as the rocket launcher to deal serious damage to naive players that brush them off as fodder. While these reinforcements disappoint in ground-to-ground combat, they excel in warfare communication. Nearby NPCs will call out enemy pilot and Titan locations for you, allowing you to get the jump on an unsuspecting enemy or protect yourself from an adversary that's ready to pounce. Simply by monitoring their actions, you'll instantly realize where the action is happening, allowing you to quickly jump into the fray after each respawn.
That's a triple kill.
One new feature you want to be mindful of when respawning is the game's new burn cards, single-use perks you earn after each match. Your overall performance and the types of challenges you complete will dictate what type of burn cards you'll receive. The catch is that you can only take a maximum of 3 cards into each match. You can only activate one at a time, and once activated, only remain in effect for that round, that is, until you die. Combining the thrill of a gamble with the promise of a temporary advantage, these burn cards add a tertiary level of strategy to each match and equip you with a small confidence boost when you really need it. Conversely, I'm not confident that the amount of game modes and loadout customization options in Titanfall will deliver the type of longevity many gamers expect from modern multiplayer shooters. Far from being bare bones, the ability to create varied and unique pilot and Titan loadouts is there, it just lacks the depth of options we've seen in franchises such as Call of Duty and Battlefield. In spite of those fears, Titanfall has provided the most fun I've had in a multiplayer shooter since Halo 3 and Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare back in 2007. While many shooters nowadays focus on delivering scripted and manufactured moments of awe and suspense to thrill the player, it takes a courageous and talented developer to create a sandbox that facilitates the possibility of these epic moments. And that's what this team has accomplished here. Titanfall marries seamless shooter mechanics with a sublime traversal system to create a badass simulator unlike any other. While some of the elements of the initial package could be expanded upon, it's a beautiful debut title from Respawn Entertainment that thrusts the team into the same class as developer powerhouses Bungie, DICE, and Treyarch. While it's not without its flaws, at the end of the day, Titanfall is easily the best game on Xbox One right now and sets the bar for mechanical polish colossally high for the rest of the industry to chase over the coming generation. A 9 out of 10.